as we go into Game 1 of the Hearthstone Global Games. Czech Republic with Pokrovac presenting them for the first game, and then Chalk representing Philippines. And it is going to be the double quest. Quest off. Okay, so it's going to be the Quest Rogue from Pokrovac versus the Quest Warrior from Chalk.
So it's pretty iconic. The first game for Hearthstone Global Games will actually include two classes that use the Quest. Both are considered very strong top-tier decks. Both the Quest Rogue, the Caverns Below, and the Fireplume's Heart have a really powerful effect. For the people who don't know how quests are working, the quest card always appears in your opening hand. It costs 1 mana and kind of acts like a secret, but you have to do what the quest wants, right? In this case, the Fireplume needs to be played like 7 taunt minions. You get a weapon that gives you a new hero power, which is the new win condition for the deck. For the Rogue, though, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, so for the Rogue, you have to play a minion with the same name 4 times in a game. And once that is live, and you do this with things like Shadow Step, right? You can only play a 2 of in the deck, but you can Shadow Step, you can duplicate the minions. And what this does is actually, once you played the quest, the reward, it makes every single minion you play from there on a 5/5, which is absolutely insane when you have a lot of charged minions that cost 1 mana, which is the main goal. So we can see the quests are live for both players here. And, you know, this is definitely going to be a tough one. And even just experience with these decks is going to be in question here because, you know, I've played a lot of Hearthstone since the rotation, a hell of a lot of Hearthstone. I have not covered every single deck that I can think of yet, not even close. So, you know, looking at the opening hands here, though, 2 Ravaging Ghouls and the Acolyte, along with Sleep with the Fishes, means that the Control Warrior here actually has a good way to just completely destroy anything that's even left on the board by the Rogue and try and, strangely enough, build a board presence, because versus Quest Rogue, they normally take their time and then explode onto the board after turn 5 when they've got the quest off, and then start piling on all the pressures. So Chalk and Team Philippines need to really apply pressure of their own early on, which is kind of difficult-ish to do as the Taunt Warrior, but with this kind of opening hand, it is doable.
That's true, because the Ravaging Ghoul actually presents a lot of attack. When you
it's just a dude, yeah.
When you compare it to other minions that you have in the deck, like an example, the new Tar creatures, right? All those Tar creatures have a really weak attack line. During your turn, it's just 1 attack. They go into a defensive mode during your opponent's turn, so they're better just at defending, of course. But at the same time, you can apply that pressure, and in this matchup, it's particularly important to just kill the Rogue before he's able to pull off his quest. But now let's look at the Pokrovac's Czech's Republic hand, and it doesn't look great, because the thing that you want to do the most is you want to cycle through the deck as soon as possible. So use cards like Novice Engineer, an example, bounce the card back, get more cards in between.
I mean, they can do the quest on turn 4 here, which is definitely a help. They can, because they've got double deck hands. Normally, you're actually bouncing 1 minion again and again and again. You have to wait for the activators. Here, there's double deck hand. The quest is already procced for 2 now. And, you know, that means that with these Shadow Steps, there's 4 already. You can just double Shadow Step, they become 0 mana.
Crazy, man.
You can set it off and be ready for turn 5. Sorry, even on turn 4.
And you can play both.
Yeah.
You can play both next turn.
And with turn 4, you can coin out the quest reward as well.
That's crazy. We are looking at turn 4, 3/5/5 minions if Chalk will not kill the patches this turn. So that's actually an amazing turn. You can see why, in this case, there's a Dirty Rat in this deck. Because it just applies insane possibility of just denying the quest.
Well, he just killed a 5/5 for a start as well. You know, like, he just killed a potential 5/5, which is absolutely huge here.
A little bit too late, but still, it's a good play.
Sorry. Pokrovac is eating a banana, so he really takes after Stan here. Well, he just likes to eat all the fruit in the world.
Stan has also bananas in hand.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is just Team Czech. They eat very healthy when they play. I like it. You can't really argue with that. But taking out that deckhand does change a few things, as you said, because now it means that the quest isn't proccable, and the power of the Dirty Rat really coming in. And now Chalk is going to apply some pressure himself.
Dirty Rat went high up in the value. Like, the stocks of Dirty Rat just went sky high.
Yeah,
in
that's
demand.
insane. To think that that turn there could have been the 2 5/5s on the board plus whatever was drawn after that.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely huge. There is a Vanish in this deck as well, which might look a bit strange, but one, it can help with bouncing the minions. For a start, you bounce your own stuff back to your hand, but also you can just vanish away your opponent's like high mana cost taunts, for example, and then just replay your 1 and 2 mana cards that are 5/5s after the quest. So you can get so much tempo from this.
It's definitely an insanely powerful card in this particular matchup because, as you said, the high-cost minions are not easily replaced on the board again. It doesn't really matter for Pokrovak that the minions will get replayed and will just get additional points for the quest for the warrior, because it's not about that in the matchup. Like, if you just can swarm the board with the 5/5s, you will overpower the warrior because he will not have enough of removal, but every single taunt warrior I have seen in the past days is running double brawls. Although this version is running Sleep with the Fishes.
Yeah, so one of the, I think, Show, I don't know if he still is, but the other day was ranked 1 with Warrior, and Sleep with the Fishes is one of the ways he was using to deal with a wide board, you know, like Shaman, for example, one of the classes that can be a problem there. And even, you know, even Rogue, actually, because if they're 5 health, you can maybe do a couple of Whirlwind effects and Sleep with the Fishes, or 2 Sleep with the Fishes just to clear the board.
2 Whirlwind effects, that's a lot of, well,
just run the 2 Sleep with the Fishes and 1 Whirlwind effect. Seems good.
Whew. Still 3 cards, right? It's not easy.
Yeah, clears the Rogue board, though.
Yeah, but you can just brawl and clear everything up out of 1.
Sure.
I'm definitely interested which like flex spots are being changed in those decks, and this is something amazing about this metagame, because every single deck, every single archetype has actually multiple ways of building. Like, some people don't play Dirty Red in the Taunt Warriors.
A lot of people don't play Shield Slam for a start.
That is true. Yeah.
One of the ways you can build Taunt Warrior that is very popular at the moment is actually just a lot of taunt minions and then some harder removal like Execute. So you don't run normally like Shield Block and Slam. We've seen Battle Rage as well, for example, be used for card draw instead of Shield Blocks. Do you see the Vanish come into play though?
Vanish has to be played just to proc the quest now, and well, it's not great for Pokrovak to see the Dirk being bounced, because that will bring out another creature from his hand without value.
Yeah, but it'll be a 5/5, which is a reasonable bonus.
Unless it will die, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you just bounce a ghoul to your opponent's hand while you have a 2/1 minion on board. So you practically, what Czech Republic did is they sacrificed the 2/1 minion that they have on board just because they did the Vanish to make the quest. So this will cost them dearly.
Yeah, this is rough as well, because as we can see in Pokrovak's hand, there's the Crystal Core, which is the quest reward. You can tell by like the spell style with a dragon on the top. It's like a legendary card. But we can see that there's no other minions. So great, you can proc the quest.
Well,
You have no minions to play.
that also gives Chalk a lot of informations. Like, he knows 1 card is quest, right? The other card might be a prep, eviscerate, backstab, maybe fan of knives. What else? They saw 1 vanish. I don't think they will assume there's a second vanish in the deck.
Yeah, I think 2's a bit heavy.
Yeah.
But who knows, Lothar? Who knows? Can see Crystal Core proc now, and the Glacial Shard's going to come down. Another new minion, 1 mana 2/1 that actually has the opportunity to freeze an enemy face or minion. You know, going to be a 5/5 though, because the quest is now live. Just as Chalk's going into the 4th taunt minion for his quest, so he's just 3 taunt minions away from being able to deal with this, and already this is looking a little bit grim for the Czech Republic here and Pokrovak. This is, you know, even with 5 attack minions, how do you get through all of this? We see the Diahon there, the 3/6 taunt Death Rattle add a 6/9 taunt to your deck, I believe.
Yes.
So you know, there's more where that came from basically. And Stonehill Defender in hand for Chalk, one of my favorite cards from the expansion. Discover a taunt minion. It's a 3 mana 1/4 taunt itself. So many roadblocks in the way here for the Rogue.
Look at that. They actually play Wisp.
Yeah.
So, when you think about it, this deck actually activated a lot of basic cards that didn't see play at all, like Wisp, like Stone Tuskboar, right? We have seen Stone Tuskboar being played maybe in the beginning of the Hearthstone competitive scene when it was like a one-off in a mid-range, in a Hunter deck, because it's just a charge minion that could have been played also with the Huntmaster. Some people tried that, but in general, it wasn't very powerful.
Just saw it from Peddler. And now Peddler's gone?
But
okay.
in this case, this is like this is like a complete new deck archetype. It's pretty cool, but it's pretty powerful. But we have seen in this game, Philippines just hard countered the Quest Rogue archetype.
Yeah, this has gone extremely well, all for the payoff of that dirty rat early on. And Giant Mastodon looks reasonable to me, actually, because at the end of the day, it kills 2 minions and has to soak up 2
for
minions.
9 mana. Although
I'm okay with that if I'm Chalk, though.
Yeah, that's true, but will you even have the chance to play it? Your opponent's at 18. They have no way of healing. They have no way of taunting up unless they...
Okay, let's be realistic. You can probably pick Gold Check Filament at this point and still be feeling pretty good about
I'll
life.
be okay with Faceless Shambler. Just copy your 3-5, the Hatchling.
So what you're saying is you don't like Mastodons.
I like it. I mean, it's a year of the Mastodon.
See, there we go. See, Chuck fitting with the theme.
Another Stonehill Defender. Psychotron. Well, everything here is just very powerful. Did he?
You can see the theme of the quest, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, did he miss attacks?
He actually missed 7 damage.
Wow. Okay, so...
I mean, it probably will not change that much.
No, but that is not a slip-up you want to make.
Yes, you definitely don't want to make that mistake again. Fortunately for him, this game seems like over anyway, but let's imagine if that happened.
It gives an opening. It still gives it,
Yeah.
that more of a chance for Czech Republic and Prokovac to actually come back into the game, and that is worrying. And as we said, 4 people in the same room talking about Hearthstone when you're trying to make decisions. There was a lot of time spent on that Giant Mastodon pick, and that's what I was saying. Came down to the rope. Oh, I forgot to attack. That's a problem.
With 3 minions.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Primordial Drake being drawn now for Chalk, and absolutely very impactful. This was the sleeper card for me.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I did not think it was going to be, 1, as useful as it is, and 2, as common in multiple decks as it is. It's a 4/8 Taunt Dragon that deals 2 damage to the whole board. Look at this. It's absolutely insane. And that, my friend, is going to proc the Fire Plume's Heart quest, which is going to give the warrior, form of Chalk,
The weapon of Ragnaros.
Hand of Ragnaros. And what this does is a 4/2 weapon for 3 mana, as you can see, and it changes your hero power to 2 mana, deal 8 damage to a random target. You may remember such effects from such cards as Ragnaros.
Which is now in the Hall of Fame in this game, so we won't be able to see him in any decks in Standard, but at the same time, well, now we have this.
Well, we stole his hammer and sent him to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Seems fine to me. And, you know, everything seems to be going Philippines' way here. The 2 minions, even the Frothing Berserker, probably isn't enough to get the job done. Like I said, just that Mastodon, although 9 mana, you just drop it. It's a 6/10. What is Prokovac going to do to get through that if he chooses to go down that route? So Fioris is definitely an option. And boom, here we go. No need for armor anymore. Let's just hit them for 8.
Well, it's a removal for 2 mana, or just you win the game this turn, right? So I guess that's very good.
Die, Insect. There
Hits
goes one.
the 1/1. I mean, it's not a 1/1 anymore, but
It's the 1 mana card. Yeah, this is... At this point, yeah, even just tanking the damage, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
no fear.
More taunts where that came from, as Psychotron is going to get dropped down. The power of Stonehill Defender there, it was a speed bump. It actually helped trade with the Frothing Berserker. It gave him a Psychotron. You know, absolutely amazing card, especially in a deck that wants to play taunts. And young Brewmaster, look, you're a good guy. You're a nice panda. You've been in the set a while, and you found your place now. But it's not going to be enough, as Chalk takes the victory for the Philippines in the first game of this best-of-5.
His resources with your health. Yep. But let's jump into the game. It's actually, I think, Dragon Priest because of the Dragon.
Does this list look familiar, Lothar?
Yes. All right, let's talk about it for a second, because a lot of players actually, before the release of the expansion, but after the spoiler set, said that it looks like Dragon Priest will not be playable at all. And here we are with Dragon Priest actually being one of the top dogs.
Yeah, you know, Dragon Priest is performing very well, although we do see a Priest of the Feast in hand as well, so maybe not the most standard list we've seen. Maybe the Drakes are just in there for just being a good card. You know, the Primordial Drakes later on, we will see. So far, we've not seen any other Dragon interaction cards, but from Czech Cloud here, can see a pretty reasonable start. Fiery Bat. There's the Jeweled Macaw, one of the new cards as well, along with what I believe one of the most powerful cards in the whole set, the Crackling Razor Maw. It's a Hunter Beast, 3/2 for 2 mana. It adapts a beast, which means you can get +3 attack on a 1-drop. Wind Fury, Divine Shield, Death Rattle, create 2/1/1 plants afterwards.
Which are very cute.
Yes, the plants are. Well, hopefully we'll see the plants so we can show you how cute they are. But basically, this is a reasonably started, just a 2-mana 3/2. It's like, yeah, seems fair. And then Adapt, like, is absolutely huge. Early game, it's strong. Late game, it's strong. To the extent where a lot of the times the Hunter 1-drop, you have to deal with it if you can. You have to deal with it, because if it gains additional effects, it becomes even more powerful. But Stars going for the Elemental here. There's another Spite, so I believe this is, in fact, of course, Dragon Priest. And, you know, the Elemental actually reduces spells down by 1 mana, so kind of a Sorcerer's Apprentice effect for Priest here.
I know, I mean, it was needed to just drop it on turn 1 because of the fact that you just explained the Crackling Razor Maw, and that was the play. So, for Philippines, you need to be on the board as soon as possible. We also see the Death Rattle effect. I don't know if that's actually a good option because of the fact that some priests might play Potion of Madness. In this scenario, if the Potion of Madness would take,
but the other options were
Bat,
bad.
Well,
I think that's the issue. The other options really weren't great. If there was an untargetable, for example, that might be a thing here. But looking at the Stars as well now, Crystalline Oracle. So it looks like Stars is playing like definitely not the standard. Could this even be? Well, it can't be Quest.
Can it be? No,
it can't just be Kazakhstan
he
or
didn't.
something.
He didn't have the Quest in his
No,
opening
he didn't,
hand,
no.
so it can't be the Quest. That's the thing. When you have Quest in your deck, it always shows up in your opening hand.
Yeah, you
right?
can discard it.
Yeah,
if you want to,
you can
but it's
mulligan it
always
away.
there if you want it. And this, you know, just showing guys that, like, you know, we're kind of in the same boat as everyone at this point. We're like, oh, well, this is a deck, you know, that we've not seen. We've not seen the deck lists, as far as everyone knows. So we've not seen them at all. So we're kind of learning with you as to what these players are bringing. There's the cute plants are going to be onto the board. So Czech Cloud actually ended up with something. Having the Eagle Horn Bow equipped as well means that he's going to gain some tempo for the following turns. It's kind of an investment there, helping deal with the minion first, and then can swing with it again next turn as well.
That's true. Now I'm thinking, first of all, Priest of the Feast. You were kind of like judging why is it in the deck. I feel like the reason why, because you have the new gadget and, let's say, way of building the priest, like, right? You decrease the cost of the spells, so you can spam spells while having Priest of the Feast. So it's a very good defensive tool, and
the old 2-mana 1/3.
Yeah, but the 2-mana 1/3 is not a really good minion right now. But at the same time, you need to have something on the board against a hunter who plays a lot of 1 attack and 1 HP minions, right? So everyone plays actually 1-drops nowadays in a hunter. Like, even if you're not fully focused,
It's because the 1-drops can get you cards like that. Onu Direhorn, 6-mana 5/5 taunt with Discover. It's not Discover, it's called Adapt. I've clearly not adapted to the new situation. The Stranglethorn, that is the power of the Jeweled Macaw. Very simple, kind of, you know, web spinner, deckhand roughly effect, but just a 1/1 beast for 1 that draws you a beast. Hey, Hunter probably wants beast cards, and as you can see, these are really good draws, being able to curve into that next turn as well for the Tiger.
for Philippines, that's not really looking great because they don't have an easy way of dealing with a wide board. So even though all those minions have a low attack stat, it's like, how do you deal with them? You attack one by
Add up
one.
over time.
So Crystalline Oracle, actually new card for the Priest class. Just a 1/1 Death Rattle gives you a card from your opponent's class or deck. Sorry, from the opponent's deck. So you can actually get Unleash the Hounds, an example. Because most likely, I would say most of the hunters will play at least 1 copy, because we have seen Warlock's Zoo make a comeback.
I do like this play from Stats here, though. This just puts more potential attackers onto the board as opposed to just dropping Priest to the Feast. There's Unleash, Lothar, good job. And what this does is, as you said, the minions are low attack. They're also low health, so now you have 2 minions with relatively high health but low attack that can just keep trading away these small guys.
I agree with you about that, but I feel like the buff on the HP on the Oracle might not be a good way of dealing with that board, because you would like to get a card as soon as possible from the Oracle. It can help you stabilize the board because your hand is not really looking that great. You can't even curve properly. Like if you play your turn 5 can be a Talent Priest into a Hero Power, or just Priest of the Feast and nothing. If you Shadow Word Death something, to turn 5 you probably will not Shadow Word Death. So you basically want to play Talent Priest and Hero Power. Next turn is Priest of the Feast, Hero Power. You're not really getting like anything proactive, right?
Yeah.
So getting the card from the Oracle might have been very important.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd want the extra health on the Nether Spite though, because that Nether Spite's going to stick around for a while. But it's oh my.
That's for next
Wow,
turn,
yeah.
so it won't be helpful really right now, but it puts something into perspective, right? Do you want to deal with those 1/1s? Yes, because you don't want to say that you have Dragonfire Potion in your hand. But at least you can do something this turn.
Yeah, and now, well, the idea is Talon Priest probably isn't the play this turn. It might just be he'll pass. Because do you want to play a card that's going to try to Dragonfire, right? So there's a chance that either Priest of Feast comes down, because it will technically live with the 1 health, or he actually just Hero Power passes, and it looks like Stars might be going for the Talon Priest, which means he might feel himself being a bit more flexible with this option, because he can Death the Tiger next turn. So maybe he's thinking, okay, well, actually, I might not even need to drag. What if he just has like Unleash the Hounds in hand? You know, like Kill Command, for example. You know, I might not need to Dragonfire. So if I make my turn not as impactful, and then it doesn't extend onto the board, then well, that's kind of a waste of a turn. So looking back, this is actually not too bad from Staz at all. Now the initiative is with Czech Cloud. Has a lot of options. I always struggle to not want to just slam High Main on 6 if I can.
High Main on 6 seems like a good choice almost every single time. Although, if you would slam High Main on 6, you would like to trade with the Tiger into the Talon Priest, because that plays around just the Holy Nova, an example.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, you don't want to lose 5 damage that's going to the face. The opponent is already at 23, so just one swing of the Tiger puts him at 18. With the Hyman on board, that is really potentially dangerous to just close out the game next turn.
Especially when you follow up can be the animal comp into Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah.
Potentially like Huffer, Leok, you know, and then Unleash the Hounds as well for even more damage next turn. He's going to trade.
He's trading, although it's still... Ooh, wow. Oh, alright, a new card that I think I didn't anticipate it would be in this deck. The Curious Glimmer Root. Let's talk about
It's
it.
the weirdest card ever.
So what
The weirdest card ever.
So what does it do?
So it's a 3-mana 3/3 that you kind of like discover in terms of you see 3 cards, and you have to pick the card that is in your opponent's deck, and then you gain a copy of that card if you pick right. But 2 of the cards won't be. So you have to pick correct. A lot of the time, I think it's reasonably okay, you know, like quite reliable. But we'll see if it pays off. We see Staz got the Eaglehorn bow from the Oracle there. So now we can actually just use that to help gain tempo over the course of the next couple of turns.
I think I would just go for the Curious Glimmer Root, because it gives you potential to get a spell
Shuffle them up.
for the Priest of the Feast. Okay, so we can say it's not Giant Sandworm.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to guess Hyena, that's my guess. And we've not seen the deck list, by the way, guys, so this is literally the same. We're in the same position as Team Philippines here.
It can be either the Hyena or the... Alright, the Hyena.
I win. That's 1-0 to me, Lothar.
Well,
the Glimmer Root was...
The Explosive Trap has some merit, because it's great against all those pesky rogues in the beginning, like if they have like small minions. It's great against other hunters, but at the same time, it doesn't give you as much space in your deck and no pressure if you just, you know, need that minion, right?
Yeah, we see the Diehorn come down now, and what's kind of awkward with this guy is the adapt effects. We can see +3 attacks, summon 2 1/1s again, and +1/+1. I think I would like +1/+1, or maybe even the plants. But this is already taunt minion. You can have an option of adapt as taunt, which is horrible because it already has taunt. It can't get taunt twice.
Yep.
So that does nothing. So you can effectively only have the opportunity to have 2 choices from adapt. But Czech Cloud got away with it there and had all the options in the world. Ended up with just +1/+1, making it a 6/6 beast. And suddenly, you know, this doesn't look like the scariest board. Looks like quite a cute board with those cats on there. But with the addition of an animal companion plus hero power and Unleash, potentially, depending on the board, this could be very scary indeed.
I like the decision which Czech Republic did actually make, because they went with the +1/+1 on the taunt, they had to trade because they wanted to play around Dragonfire Potion. It's a very conscious decision that they made, and it sets up a longer game. They just don't rush because they know that they can overwhelm the priest with a single minion that isn't easily to deal with, right? So it's a very good decision.
Yeah, it looks like Staz is going to Dragonfire Potion into Cleric. Cleric technically does contest this 6-1 onto the board here. Over the course of a turn, though, so this 6 damage that's going to come flying in now.
Firefly. So that's an interesting creature as well. It's a new elemental. It actually gives you a other 1/2 in your hand that costs 1. So it's a good synergy for almost everything in the Hunter, apart from the Beast synergy, right? Because it gives you a 1-drop. It can also fill out the curve. It's great with Animal Companion because it can get a buff additional attack with Leog. So it's a very versatile minion that found place in a lot of decks.
Yeah, I think the sheer just general power of the card is strong because it's play a card and put a copy of that card in your hand. And when it's like such an early minion you can drop down with favorable stats, it actually helps battle for the board early on quite a lot, especially against the more aggressive decks. So Firefly, not too much of a surprise, but definitely not a super common pick either. It's like Cloud might be considering Huffer into the Cleric just to give as little draws as possible for Team Philippines here.
I like it. I like trading with the Priest because your opponent just telegraphed he has no other way of dealing with the 6-1 minion, right? He wants to trade that Cleric into the huge
not
minion.
playing the Firefly because of cards like Potion of Madness.
You think so? That's the major thing? Or is it like Holy Nova?
Oh yeah, but Holy Nova probably wouldn't be too bothered. Here's a second Glimmer Root. Who wins now? Rat Pack.
Yeah, that's definitely Rat Pack. I don't see a way of playing a Dispatch Coda without any buff cards in your deck. That's a Rat Pack. And it's not really helpful.
Who's the hunter now? Eaglehorn, Bow, Hyena, and Rat Pack in the hand.
But you're just most likely dead next turn.
Would have loved Unleash here, I believe, Staz. Unleash would have been so good, especially with Hyena. You should play Hyena, Unleash, trade. Get him.
Man, that would have been game probably for Stars. We'll just take it without using hounds. But now, no charge minions, no way of dealing with that apart from just playing the weapon and trading up. But then he's dead. If he plays the weapon and doesn't heal, he's just dead on board. So he needs to commit to healing and just play something on the board.
Yeah, well played indeed. Czech's going to go for the Animal Companion first, even though the Unleash gave them guaranteed lethal regardless. Unleash the Hounds. Hunter is back in the game, everyone. And he's taking a win in its first game of Hearthstone Global Games. And also Czech Republic taking the first win too, even though versus Philippines, 1-1.
All high five. But what I want to say is, you know, glimpse of my eye, what decks are getting here,
so
and it's nuts. Man, this is nuts.
Yep, so Waning Moon is going to be obviously representing Philippines on the Rogue, and this already with the Razor Petal Lasher looks like the Miracle Rogue list, which is awesome. And then Stan Sifka on his Control Warlock, and I saw a card called Doom. And did you see some of the combos that can happen with that card later on? I
assume if he plays Doom, he also plays Bloodbloom.
Yes, and
it's
he also...
2-mana new spell. Let's just say to the viewers, because you know a lot of people will not be accustomed to the new cards. It's a huge expansion. It was released on the 6th of April or 7th, and the 2-mana card, the Bloodbloom, allows you to play a spell for 0 mana, but instead of paying the mana, you pay your health.
Yep, and an important thing to know if this deck is the deck I think it is, this deck potentially has Medivh in it, and what it does is. Medivh, the weapon, actually normally gives you a minion based on the amount of mana you spend. But it actually says cost in the text, I believe, of the weapon. Health is a cost. So you can Doom for 10 mana, clear the board, and generate a 10 mana minion onto the board with that weapon, which is the combo that we've seen, you know, the biggest combo we've seen pull off. But we do see this game going off to a reasonably quick start with Swashbuckler, straight out for Waning Moon, Spreading Madness. Not exactly what you want in terms of all the Warlock cards available.
You can kill your own Auctioneer. That's not really the best thing to do.
I definitely disagree. Waning Moon just clean off the glasses there. Just got to sort himself out, make sure he can fully see the board, being able to play.
For Stan Sifka, now the Dirty Red doesn't seem like a really great thing to keep in your opening hand, because you know you're not facing Quest Rogue anymore. And that means if you just play Dirty Red and then 10-2, you might get an auctioneer out and lose the game in the process.
Yep, pretty much. So the Dirty Rat was kept because of the potential of Quest Rogue, but this is actually going to be the Miracle Rogue, and we see some new cards already. The Razor Pile, very straightforward. It's a 1-mana spell that deals 1 damage, great for cycling, and procking the new legendary that we may see called Sherazim Corpse Flower, which should be in this deck if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Should be, definitely should be, because it's a great way of just getting another pressure card on your board. It has a great synergy with Gazetan. Like, how many cards do you want to cycle through a Gazetan turn, right?
All
as
of them.
much as as many as possible. So if you can get 4 cards and get a 0-mana 5/3 on the board at the same time, well, that's pretty nuts, right? So definitely we're gonna see that in this deck. Although now it seems kind of lackluster. Like, your hand is pretty weak, right? He needs to draw the auctioneer as soon as possible. The Swashburger can still give him access to some fuel, right? Oh, another new card, Hallucination. Actually, big fan of this. It's a 1-mana, discover a card from your opponent's class.
Yeah, it's a really just straightforward card, but great in Miracle Rogue. And even the Vilespine Slayer means that you don't have to run a second sap normally in the list, because you run 2 Vilespine Slayers that just kill a dude if you combo it as well. So already, we can see the guys from the Philippines just messing around and generally being in high spirits, which is great to see. And yeah, Waning Moon's just starting to pile on a bit of the pressure here. Stan Sifka doesn't have anything too fantastic yet, but we are only on turn 3.
Man, Bane of Doom. One of my favorite cards. People didn't play it for a very long time. Basically since Demon Zoo, I think.
Yeah, I think so. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So we might just talk about it a little bit. What does it do? It's a 5-mana spell that deals 2 damage. If the creature dies, you summon a random demon. It can be anything.
Yeah, and I believe actually in general the demons got the demon outcome got buffed a bit in the expansion because there's the Stalker, the 3/8 as well that can come off it. I think overall, I believe, not sure by how much, but the demons got buffed, so the outcome is just that bit stronger. You know, Gang Boss has gone out of the rotation, which you normally like. Oh, Gang Boss is great. You actually want a big dude out of this. This is a 5-mana play at the end of the day, so you really want something a bit more impactful, which is why it's snuck into Stan Sifka's deck at this point.
One thing that we didn't talk about is the fact that there's a Firefly in this deck.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a good card.
It seems like just a good way of starting the game, right? It also has synergy with Mountain Giant. You still have a card after playing a card.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty synergetic with the deck. I think it's one of the best designs in this expansion, actually. It's so simple, so elegant, and yet it fits so many decks.
Yeah, I think just the simplicity and just the general power level of the card allows you to drop it in almost anything. We do see Hallucination, and it's got to be... Ooh,
that's a hard choice. Sacrificial Pact, you know that your opponent will be playing a demon at some point. You are almost guaranteed that your opponent will play Jaraxxus. And that's a win.
Yeah, I think Sack Pack's the pick here as well, because just the fact that, yeah, like you said, there's probably going to be a demon at some point in this game. If these guys watch Throne of Cards, then they would have actually seen this deck list be played out multiple times. And also, it's a 0-mana spell, which in Rogue, I've heard is pretty good when you play in the Miracle version at least. So I feel like Sack Pack is a great pick here.
They also play Archon Giants, so it has synergy with the Archon Giants as well. It's a really great pick. Now it just comes down to when do you use it? Do you keep it, or do you just use it on the first demon that just hits the board? Right?
Yeah, because bear in mind, you cannot use it unless there's a demon on the board, unless it has a specific target. It's not a spell you can just randomly play.
Voodoo? What?
Yep. Plays Voodoo.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, it's not a surprise. Right. Yep. There's just cards in this deck. That's the best way I can describe it. This is a Hearthstone deck, Lothar. Just to let you guys know at home, Stan Sifka did not auto-complete this deck.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, this is actually a list he has played in tournaments. Stan Sifka won the tournament he played in, a mere 2 days ago. And this was one of the decks he played, so... Yeah,
well,
Voodoo.
This looks like one of my decks that I built in Arena, man.
Good arena deck, though. Good arena deck.
That's
a lot too
that
ups for an arena
like
deck.
that, right?
Come on.
Well, okay. But still, a lot of possibilities. I mean, healing your own minions, great. you can trade up, basically. You still have something on your board, so it's pretty decent. I'm kind of surprised we don't see more life tapping from Stan Cifka here.
I mean, there's not that much healing, remember? I mean, there's
That
no
is
Reno
true.
anymore, so you're not healing back up to full.
So what are the options to heal in this deck then?
From
Apart
what I've
from the
seen,
Voodoo Doctor.
well, there's one, mate. So what I've seen is like still Farseer, for example, but there isn't really a lot. The idea, I think, of all these low drops is that you can contest an aggressive opening, and then you should just win the late game with like Medivh, Doom. You know what I mean? Like,
Jaraxxus, right?
yeah.
Well, Jaraxxus actually heal.
Yeah, that's true. But you should you have enough beef to like win the late game against almost any deck. You've just got to get there, which, as I said, without Reno being around anymore, it's actually very difficult. So all these anti-aggro cards are going to come into play here and help stave off this kind of assault. We see Winning Moon now has a couple of options. There is a demon on the board.
Well, it's a very small demon, so...
Yeah, there was an option, though, to actually sack pack the Void Caller, the Void Walker, sorry, and then Valspine Slayer the 4/5. The Twilight Drake onto the board just to clear it off. But suddenly, wow, Spreading Madness was sick. It didn't hit himself once.
Spreading Madness was insane. Madness! I tell you! Madness! He didn't get a single point of damage. And he's able to clear everything apart from the Twilight Drake, which is not that big of a deal. It's just a 4/3 minion. The Rogues are used to just have one minion around them because, you know, you just kind of play this slower game. You bounce them back or you just kill them with an Eviscerate later on. Doesn't really matter if you could just got smashed for 8 damage to your face.
And then we see as well another option there, Mistress of Mixtures again.
Oh, yeah, right.
Solid
Another
card,
heal
of course,
card.
which
Yeah,
is effectively a heal for 4 most of the time.
Now it's a tough decision for Czech Republic to make. Like, you don't want to play that Dirty Rat. You don't have a way of dealing with a creature that is
Not
being
even
put
close,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I think you might actually tap here. Just look for a different option. Otherwise, it's just going to be Mistress of Mixtures.
and that sounds weak. Turn 5, you just play it 2/2. Not really a great option. Another Siphon Soul.
More
that,
heal.
More heal, yes, exactly. So now you get back 6 points of damage, and you clear 2 minions, which gives you essentially more heal if they didn't have charge.
And just buys you time as well against decks that are kind of, trying to chain drop big guys.
Yeah. So I think like they're still debating the rat, the Dirty Rat. Oh man, that's a. If they played the Dirty Rat this turn, I would be blown away. I feel like, what if your opponent's minion is just bigger than a 4/4, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. Dirty Rat here, this just wouldn't be anywhere near as good. Next turn, he can Siphon Soul anything that comes out as well. So there's kind of like 2 turns worth of safety with double Siphon Soul in hand. So you can see now as Stan Cifka, continues to play out this Wallet deck, how it kind of operates to a certain extent in terms of just buying time until you can really just clear the board once, then go on to it yourself with some big guys.
I like this turn. The Demon Fire just helps us clear the board with the Agent, with the combo ability to just deal 2 damage. Dagger comes in handy because it kills the 4/1. Twilight Drake remains, and he got ahead on the board, which is nice. He always has he also has a way of replenishing his hand with the Gadgeton Ruzzle Pedal, but he needs more spells to just get more things going, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or needs a demon to come down to the board. Second Mistress of Mixtures coming out for Stan Cifka here, which means that, again, we can just see how defensive this deck is, but it is kind of a whiff. I feel like you just need another tap. It feels really bad here, but Cifka agrees.
Will he?
That's
yeah.
more like it.
All right, so
Yeah.
the Elise is a new legendary. It's a second iteration of the same minion we already had. That's one of the legendaries from League of Explorers that does make a comeback. And what it does is a 5-mana 5/5 that puts. It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
It puts a Ungoro pack. How did I pronounce that? Never mind. It puts a pack into your deck that contains 5 cards, and you open it for 2 mana. But the thing is, it has a higher probability of getting legendaries.
Yeah. The value of that pack is actually pretty high.
Yes.
A lot of the time you get some very, very, very good stuff out of there. And it can be any card. It's not even class specific. So it can literally be any card in the Ungoro set. So, got the high value there. And you can start to see how this deck is going to piece together. Whereas Waning Moon and Team Philippines are trying to work out exactly how they want to progress. Do they just play a Vile Spine just as a dude? Kind of a hard choice because there are so many big, beefy stuff that can come out from Stan Cifka.
You need to keep that Vilespine Slayer in your hand. It's also a new card. It's a 5-mana 3/4. that destroys a minion if you can combo it out.
Because it's animation. Cut
Machete.
through the jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there goes the pack into the deck.
All right, all right. So now, this is interesting. He can either go for the Gazetan with double draw, well, triple, because the hallucination will give you something as well. Will also decrease the Archangel to 5 mana, so it will be playable next turn. But he goes for the Vileswan Slayer to just get the value, and I like this. He clears the board again, puts a creature with some pressure on the board, and prepares for a big Gazetan turn at some point in the game. One thing I dislike about the version with the Archangel, though, is I find them really slow. It's like the last turn, right? Waning Moon didn't play anything. He just dug it up. Although, if he would have an option to play the 8/8 for 7 mana, he would probably played it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There goes the Dirty Rat, though, and that is just going to be insta-killed, and there goes Waning Moon's cycle potential going forward in the next few turns, so that's a little bit scary.
Oh, man.
Imagine if Dirty Rat hadn't come out there. Hallucinations at least look like it's going to be the play to just see what are the options for this turn for Team Philippines, because otherwise you're kind of just dropping an Arcane Giant and passing, which feels bad.
You probably will do that anyway, but let's see first the Hallucination. So I'm guessing he has around 16 cards in his deck left, so there's not a lot of chances actually draw the
It's
second
from class,
Auctioneer.
though, Hallucination.
Yeah, but I mean, to draw
Oh,
another
it's a cycle.
Auctioneer,
Yeah.
it's kind of horrible to get it. So you need to rely on something else, and I need to.
Yep.
I feel like you need to play that Hallucination this turn to maybe get something that will get a card draw, right?
So Waning Moon disagrees. Just gonna didn't even re-hero power just for the fun of it, floating 2 mana, but just gonna take his time. But this is what I was saying earlier, like. Stan Cifka's Warlock deck looks really strange until you realize that their opponent can't do anything. Like, oh, another Siphon Soul, well there goes your Giant. You know what I mean? Like, it starts to be just like on-demand removal, and it just stalls out long enough, but there's Jiraxxus.
Oh man.
How are we gonna see in the first series of the Hearthstone Global Games a Jiraxxus killed by a Sacrificial Pact?
I'm not sure if we're gonna see the Jiraxxus because Stan has so many ways of just controlling the board, so he might not even feel like he needs to play it.
Yeah, look, there's got to be a snap hallucination here. Second prep means that there's absolutely nothing going on. Is that Shadow Flame? Yep.
Shadow Flame Drain, not Shadow Bolt. That's actually not a really good way.
You wanted like a minion.
Yeah,
So
minion would have been better.
something to play. Oh, Doom. Prep Doom.
Prep Doom,
That would have been
draw
sick.
3 cards. That would actually
Yeah,
be
that's
insane.
what I mean. Yeah, that would have been sick. But not going to be too many good options here. It's going to be a tough one. No minions to Shadow Flame at the moment, and also no Cold Blood to even say, well, I'll draw a low attack minion, Cold Blood it and go. So it's like it's just going to be the Shadow Bolt, and it's going to help clear out the board. But this Foul Spine Slayer is going to get killed by the Voodoo Doctor.
At least it will deal 3 damage to the face. But it's still not looking great. So unless...
You can just Bane of Doom.
I think he will do that, actually.
Well,
Definitely.
yeah,
do that.
2 Bane of Dooms, and what's good for Stan Cifka here is the Bane of Doom Demon, once we see what it is, may well draw out this sack pack.
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
That would definitely draw the sack pack out.
Yeah, and then Cifka can just slam Jiraxxus and say go.
Wait, do you play a second Bane of Doom right now? Just on your own Voodoo Doctor?
Probably. You could even coil if you really wanted, but just to cycle. But you still got tap.
Well, you have Doom. You don't want to overcommit with the second Bane of Doom, I guess. Doom and Bane of Doom.
What's the Bane of Doom face for lethal?
It doesn't create a demon. It's not a valid choice.
Ah, never mind.
Well, do you want to tap, maybe? Not really, right? You don't know if your opponent is playing Cold Bloods in his deck. Well, you have seen Arcane Giant.
Yeah,
So most likely there are not that many charge minions.
no, but the rough stand, like the kind of, it's hard to say, oh, the standard list. So let's see what comes out Bane of Doom before I finish my thought.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Those are 2 really good
I
outcomes.
told you the rolls were good for Bane of Doom now.
Jesus.
But yeah, the actual, what were we talking about
Bane of Doom?
before that?
Battle Cries?
Oh,
Cold
yeah.
Blood?
So the list, I believe that I think this is actually just 1 Cold Blood in there as well. So as you said, not really charge minions. So unless there's a minion already on the board, then Cold Blood isn't really too much of a threat.
That's true. By the way, it's the second game today that Dirty Rat is just doing work.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, imagine if Dirty Rat didn't pull Gadgetzan.
That would be a
Look at the hand.
complete different game. Waning Moon would actually play Gazetan, Prep, Hallucination, or just Hallucination first, then Prep, then Spell from Hallucination, and just draw like at least 4 cards. At least 4 that turn. That would have been insane. Could have been deeper into the deck, probably would draw more
Would have got into the second
threats,
prep.
and Stansif could have been defensive.
Oh, this is so clever. Okay. So if Stansifka didn't run Draxus or have it in hand, Waning Moon has sapped the Draxus to say, well, if you want to play it, you're dead. And this is a huge nod here, and I'm pretty sure Sifka will think about this. There is one card. I'm pretty sure these guys will be hand tracking, especially because there's 4 of them. There is... Okay, I was going to say, there's one card that was discovered from the Warlock class that has been in the hand for a very, very long time. And that card, come on, you've got to believe, along with the sap on the Draxus, is like, please, like, this has to be Sacrificial Pact here.
Well, at the same time, you don't want to sap the Cruel, because your opponent is playing Demons in his deck, right? So
Yeah,
you sap
probably
the
not playing that
Cruel-
many straight-up demons, though.
Well, a couple of Trafficker. Is it in the deck? I feel like it's
No,
a great...
no, I
but it
don't
would
think
have
so.
been such a great minion, right?
It's not enough room. Look how defensive cards
Well,
it's got,
he
like...
plays 2 Blood Blooms, man.
Yeah. Sick. Remember, Siphon Soul, right?
Yeah.
So it's like pay 3 health to cast it. Yeah, Stansifka's not taking the bait. He is just saying, I've got a 7/7 on the board. I'm just going to keep punching you in the face
Alright, that's a
and
decent-
leave it there. But there's
decent
a
minion.
Yeah, there's an Arcane Giant.
Your opponent already played 2 Siphon Souls. And the Arcane Giant is just out of range of Cruel attack. So Stansifka would have to commit something else to it. Well, Waning Moon can't really anticipate that there will be a Mortal Coil right now.
Yeah, if you're going to play around like the Mortal Coil, then you're not playing a minion, then you're going to die. So the Arcane Giant is just also out of necessity at this point. It's going to be a pretty easy clear. It's going to be...
Everyone is cheering like, Jiraxis, Jiraxis, let's go.
Oh, here we
that
go.
actually
Here's a treat
complicated
for everyone
game.
who has not seen this.
Yeah.
Ungoro pack on its way.
3, 6, 7 cards in the hand. So actually, because of that, I feel like Stansifka might go for Blood Bloom and Ngoro pack, and then Mortal Coil to trade. Or will he go for the Mortal Coil first? He might actually draw a threat first from the
just to see
deck,
what's going
right?
on, yeah.
Or will he commit for the Jiraxis? No.
Let's see him. Here we go. So we can see the pack get opened, which is pretty sick.
All right. So what did we get? There's a Clutch Model Zavas. Wait, twice?
Yeah. So Clutch Mother. There's the 2/2 Wasp, the Archaeologist, and the there's 2 Clutch Mothers.
Yeah.
And the Vicious Pterodax.
Vicious Fledgling.
Oh, Fledgling. Sorry, it is a Pterodax, but it's a
Yeah.
Fledgling by
It's
card
actually
name.
an insane creature when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because if it attacks once and it gets the Adapt, you can get Wind Fury and get another Adapt. But now, this is not important because Gazetan number 2 is being drawn, and that's the chance to get back into the game for Philippines.
Wow, here we go. Going off now for Waning Moon on this rogue. Double prep, along with a coin draw as well, means that you can cycle for days. Eviscerate.
Here we
Gonna be
go.
absolutely fantastic here.
Here we go. Like, this is an occasion to just do something in the game. Like, they lacked that turn, and now they get it.
I wonder if you go face with everything.
Just, like, get that Jiraxis
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
right?
just to try and pressure Draxus.
Remember, there's no more Conceal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That card
No
doesn't
conceal.
exist in the game, sorry, in the standard anymore.
Okay, Prep Fan is going to actually
yeah.
help out.
It actually clears the board with the Falnos. That's nuts.
He's not. He's playing the Thanos. Okay, yeah, he's going to clear the board here. So this is good an opportunity as Waning Moon has to develop onto this board and draw a ton of cards. There's another Eviscerate.
But look at that.
Oh.
If he wouldn't play the Falnos, he would have actually played Edwin this turn.
That would have been scary. You can't presume that sort of
Well, can you? I mean, the deck is not that many cards left, right?
True.
So there was a chance of just making the calculations. What are the odds of drawing the Edwin? But still, it's a really great turn for Waning Moon. It actually keeps in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you know, we talked about the Blood Blooms, but they're probably just not going to be that valuable anymore because Sifka's only on 18 health. If he Blood Blooms into Doom, well, you're on 8 health against Rogue. Never a good stage to be at.
You need to play Jiraxis after that then. And then you're dead.
You're dead, yeah. I'm pretty sure Sifka knows they've got a sack pack.
He's going for that.
Oh, he's going to 8.
He's going for that. That means he will use Farseer this turn.
Yeah. Bear in mind, this does only use 2 mana to play the Blood Bloom, so this means that he's got 8 mana, as you can see, to float around.
Still a good turn for Waning Moon. Look at that. If that Eviscerate would actually be in face, that is very close to lethal.
Yeah. Let's see Tarkrik come down. Giant Wasp is a nightmare. Playing against a Rogue the other day with this card, I was like, oh, I guess I just can't play anything. I think I was playing Control Warrior as well.
There's Sharazin a little bit late to the party. No more, and not much value left when your deck is like 3 cards.
No, but Sharazin does like to party, as you can see. A very happy little flower there. And what this card does is when it dies, it goes dormant. It turns into a uninteractable egg-style thing. And then once you play 4 cards in a single turn, it transforms back into Sharazin Corpse Flower again. So this minion effectively never gets removed off the board. There's Medivh a little bit too late. If this is a couple of turns early when, Waning Moon was just passing turns.
One turn earlier.
Yeah, but even earlier on, Waning Moon was just passing a turn and doing nothing. So, Medivh could have made a huge impact there onto this game, but still might make it. As, this Wasp means that Sivka can just clear off one of these minions very, very easily indeed.
But he's not able to clear both minions, and that's a problem, because he's at 7 HP. He knows his opponent still has 1 Eviscerate in the deck left, or in the hand.
He can't Jiraxxus.
But if he just plays Farseer, he's going to 10. 1 minion is left with 3 attack. He goes to 7 back. So
Dagger as well.
Yeah, well, 7, that's 6, that's 2 HP with just a single Eviscerate. And there might be a deckhand that is exactly 2. Because he has seen Swashbuckler, but there may be another pirate. What are other options?
I think the options are mainly those at this point. So Sivka's not got much choice. I'm pretty sure he is just, concerned to the fact that he cannot play Jiraxxus this game. He's going as wide as possible onto the board. He's going to try and take this one before Waning Moon can piece together the damage. Mimic Pod onto the last card.
That is actually nuts, because if maybe the last card is an actual Mimic Pod.
Is it Backstab?
I'm out of cards.
Yeah, hey, that's good deck, mental deck tracking there.
Imagine if it would be an Eviscerate. Just game.
Yeah, it's straight up game. But these backstabs are really going to help, and they're going to easily pop Sharazim again.
And
you can go backstab, coin Edwin.
Oh my god, that's
okay.
So is he back into the game? Well, you can take 3 damage.
Yeah, the damage
from that
doesn't matter.
fledgling, so it's not really that important. But do you want to keep the Eviscerate, or do you want to pressure your opponent and just Eviscerate face?
You Eviscerate face, right?
I
He's
think
used
so.
2 Farseers, 2 Voodoos, 2 Siphon Souls. What healing does he have left? There's almost damage permanence now, because you know if he Jiraxxuses, you win anyway.
Ah, there goes the Eviscerate face. I love it.
He does have to trade, though.
I don't think so. He just pushes.
Oh, maybe not, because I was thinking there's Jiraxxus weapon swing as well. But he should be relatively safe here. I don't think there's really anything for 1 mana that changes anything here. And Coil, not the card he's looking for.
That's the game. You play Jiraxxus, you're dead. I mean, there's a 12-12 Edwin. You're dead anyway. So, it's kind of tough. I mean, not really. Your opponent is actually run out of cards. He has 1 card left. So if you play Jiraxxus, and next you will have a way of dealing with the Edwin, so you just take damage once, right? Then you're still not dead. And if you just get another, like Blast Crystal Potion example, if you get the Blast Crystal Potion, you deal with the Edwin, you have a way of healing back with the second Jiraxxus.
Is there any way Sivka can get a taunt?
There's a taunt!
Yes. Is it enough, though?
Well, he's not able to...
You're literally just playing Tar Creeper passing.
Now he's not... Wait. Is he able to even survive this turn?
He does with Tar Creeper, it's 5. Oh, no, he won't.
No,
he won't, of course, because Van Cleef kills it. What am I...
Yeah.
I'm talking
Second
like
taunt.
a crazy person.
Alright, that's a way of surviving the turn.
On 1. Yeah, and he just has to go face. He can't kill off any of the minions. Fatigue is an issue now.
3, 5, 8. Oh man. That Waning Moon just lost. He has no way of healing, and he can't kill 2 minions.
No. Oh yeah, 2 fatigue.
He just lost. 2 fatigue and 3 damage from Jiraxxus.
Exact lethal.
Well, That's game.
Absolutely crazy, coming down to the wire, and Stan Sifka just about managing to hold on. That coil was huge into life tap into 1 health, okay?
Wow.
That's knowing when you need to do something big, and big indeed. The Dirty Rat having no minions in hand. Sifka was fully aware that this is Sacrificial Pact in Waning Moon's hand. It's not been played all game, and there was a sapped Draxus, so only one reason for that. And now, you know, Waning Moon's just looking at the options. He's like, well, yeah, I think I'm dead. Because Waning Moon knows there's a Draxus in hand, at least one, because he sapped it.
What a nuts game, man.
Wow, well, right down to the wire. You faced Draxus. Sacrificial Pact is, in fact, not enough to deal with this Demon Lord.
It's not an instant.
No, and this is going to be game. Fatigue taking it down, and as we said, a card like Mimic Pod coming out that late in the game might not have been enough for Waning Moon, and Team Czech Republic go 2-1 up over the Philippines.
Match point for Czech Republic.
I can see a couple of Elemental cards, Lothar, so you were indeed correct. Elemental Shaman versus the Questing Taunt Warrior.
Although there's a patches in that Shaman, that means we'll see some Pirates. I'm guessing deck can because it has a synergy with the weapons, although there's only 1 weapon left in the deck nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's Corsair, actually. You know, the weapon destruction.
Yeah.
You run 2 of those because they're still good with Flame Tongue, for example. There you go.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's just a decent minion, and you gain the patches. As I said, Flame Tongue is very nice as well to combine with that. And it's just something a little bit early to fight against the board, because I've not played tons of Ellie Shaman, but the deck kind of struggles early game. Like really, like turns 1, 2, 3, it's kind of struggles because you don't have room to play cards like Feral Spirit. You know, Tunnel Trog is gone, Totem Golem is gone. So you may be even seeing Galacco Crawlers for a certain extent if you're expecting to counter Pirates. But yeah, the really early game is kind of lacking. So not too surprised to see this use here from the Bloodcell Corsair.
Although you need the Elementals in the early game just to have the synergy, because what is a trademark for the Elemental is that it's the first time when the cards in Hearthstone have a synergy because you played something earlier on.
Yeah.
And that means you need to play an Elemental on turn 3, an example, to have the 12-year Stone Shaper have his own buff.
Yeah, and one of the big sticking points, I know we've discussed it, and Sort was talking about it yesterday, actually, is that the 12-year Stone Shaper is kind of weird. You said you need to kind of really play an Elemental before you want to play another Elemental the turn after. Stone Shaper isn't an Elemental, but it gets affected by them. So if Stone Shaper is a 4-mana 3/5 with Taunt, and it gains Divine Shield if you played an Elemental, right?
Yes.
The problem is, there is a 5-mana Elemental that we'll no doubt see later on that you really want to play on 5, but its effect is only live if you played an Elemental last turn. So this can get really awkward to try and navigate when and where to play these Elementals to get the most benefit from the minions. And because this is not an aggressive deck, we might see, depending on what the hand looks like by then, the 12-year Stone Shaper not actually played on 4. Might actually skip it out to try and discover with the 5-drop. So
well, the Servant of Kalimos is a very important card for turn 5 because it gives you another Elemental, so it gives you more synergy basically because of doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if, as you said, he would just not play the 12-year, even if he has a synergy on turn 4.
As long as he has an Elemental to play instead.
Yeah,
he might skip the Kara, she might skip the 12-year, excuse me. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. The Stonehill is going to come down now, and there are a couple of options there. We don't quite get to see them at this moment, but we'll work out what
spectator bag. But
spectating.
Yeah, the option are of course taunt minions.
Yep, and they do have quite. We do have quite a heavy class because it's Discover. Class has a way heavier representation in the Discover option, so we can see more cards like Bloodtooth Brave, Ali Armorsmith, for example, and some of the Warrior Taunts as well. So we'll see what the option actually is here from Yara. What is
thinking heavily about that, so there are some close picks. And he goes for the Cornered Sentry, new card from the Ungora expansion. It's a 2-mana 2/6 that creates 3 Raptors. I think that was the character played in the new Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So it's a cool, it's a cool introduction to something new, right? It has a synergy with cards like Ravaging Ghoul, Frauding Berserker, Whirlwind,
Also,
That's bite.
if you've got Acolyte of Pain already down, then you can
Yeah.
make a very nice trade straight away into the board. But you can see Karakute here is just working out exactly what she wants to do here. Just going to help trade there with the Flame Tongue Totem and then try and build up for these elementals. There was no elemental played this turn, though, so that 12-8 Stone Shaper is not going to be live. So Karakute is going to be looking to try and draw an elemental this turn to make something happen following up. But coin into Fire Elemental, into Fire Elemental, into Blaze Caller.
That
Woo!
is nuts.
That's crazy.
That is so much damage. When you think about it, it's 9, 15, 18, 23 damage, 29 damage if the two first Fire Elementals will actually get to attack phase.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Do you see Firefly now? Absolutely great card for the Elemental Shaman, as it, it gives you those options, right? The 1/2 it gives you back in your hand is, in fact, an Elemental, which means that you can just slip in these 1-drops to proc your Elementals for the following turn quite easily here.
And it actually helps here because the fact... No, it actually doesn't. That doesn't. It's not important. You will still go for the Fire Elemental here.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's ever a point, because the damage doesn't add up correctly, to trade in this turn, whether you Firefly Stone Shaper just to get the 3/5 on the board, and then coin Blaze Call to actually kill it off.
That's what I was thinking about. And
then after Blaze Call, you just go Fire Rally, Fire Rally.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, you lose like the natural curve, let's say like that. But at this point, maybe it was worth it.
Yeah, it's Elemental decks at a glance. I think most people were like, oh, this seems straight, just curve. Straight. Not that easy, actually, because you have to plan multiple turns ahead. If you run out...
at least one.
yeah, but even the thing is, you might be like, oh, I can proc my Elemental this turn. But what if you don't proc it a turn after for a stronger minion? What if you miss Blaze Caller's Battlecry because you didn't, ration out your Elementals well?
Yep.
That's huge.
That
That's
is huge.
Potentially just game losing at that point.
Also, one interesting aspect in the new Shamans is the fact that those Shamans don't run really a lot of cards with Overload anymore.
Nope.
We lost that trademark Shaman thing, right? So, Shaman, sorry. What is left? There's basically only the weapon left with Overload, so the Jade...
Yeah,
right?
and then if Liz happened to run Lightning Bolt for,
Lightning Storm.
Lightning Storm,
right?
Lightning Bolt, for example, yeah. We are going to see Tarkweeper come down. That is number 4 on the quest for Yara here. So he is 4 out of 7 till he gets that Sulfuris. Look at the crackle effect. I love it.
The Kalimos, a new card as well, it actually gives you an insane effect. When you played an Elemental last turn, it gives you 4 different spells. But let's focus on the game right now because it's still 2 turns away.
Yeah, there's multiple choices here where you can actually 12-ish Stone Shaper and Firefly this turn. With the Divine Shield and the Flame Tongue down, you can get a lot of value from that play and still proc a turn 7 Elemental in the form of the Blaze Caller. Or Karakute can go for the second Fire Elemental to clear up the board cleanly, and this is just as nice and leaves the Firefly open to use the following turns as well. So you're starting to see the sort of snowball power of the Elemental Shaman, or Elementals in general, actually. It's not like Shaman is the only deck that can play them. We see the Corner Sentry.
Corner Sentry with the Raptors. And that goes into a brawl.
Another good, as you mentioned earlier, nice synergy. You just made the brawl a lot better chances for yourself.
It's also important that the Sentry is actually for just 2 mana. It adds a point on your quest for 2 mana. That's important because usually the Warrior was missing a taunt on turn 2, right? Yeah. You just armor up,
so a lot
play
of times
the weapon.
you don't dirty round too. Like a lot of the time you don't.
So in this case, the Sentry just helps out, curving out, and you can finish the quest as early as turn 8. And that's actually huge.
Yeah. So now there's a few options. Suddenly Blaze Caller to face just doesn't feel great, because it does 5 damage. And that's actually a lot of damage to be able to deal with these big taunt minions. So it looks like it's going to be Stone Shaper, and then the Firefly, I imagine, is going to come down this turn, because this will proc Kalimos.
Yeah, he needs to play. She needs to play the Firefly. She will still have 1 mana Elemental in her hand because Firefly adds action Elemental to your hand.
Yep.
So it's still fine. But you want to have Kalimos for the next turn because it's so versatile. The four spells that are being played in the Kalimos is a 3 damage AoE to your opponent's minion, Onyxia effect, which just creates 1/1 elementals to fill out the board. Then we have heal for 12 and deal 6 damage to your opponent's face.
Yep, you either deal damage to your opponent's face for 6 or heal yourself for 12. It cannot be used on minions. It can be used on your own face only. But very, very powerful card indeed. We're going to see now what choice. Yara just is lacking choices, actually. Might just have to Drake this turn. But
Well, it's still a great Drake. It kills 3 minions and destroys the Divine Shield. It doesn't trade with the Stone...
sleep with the little fishes there to follow up with. You know, like turn after to try and help clear it off.
Well, he can also think about just keeping the board as it is and play Drake turn 10 with the sleep the fishes, right?
Yeah, do you have just hero power pass here? I think he might. Yara looks like he agrees he's going to go for it. Just going to try and let him develop more into the board. There's the 5-drop we were talking about, and I think
7 of Kalimos is an amazing card.
I think, you know, Blaze Call is super powerful. Kalimos is the legendary and is insanely powerful. But I actually think Servant of Kalimos might be the strongest of the lot in terms of its effect.
Well, it's pure pressure. It's just a good minion on its own, and it gives you another good minion, most likely.
The odds on you discovering Kalimos again is actually pretty high.
Or second Servant of Kalimos. It's an elemental on their own. Woo! Dust Devil! Yes! Wait, was it an elemental before? Or they added that in the patch?
They added it. Elementals weren't a thing in the patch, I believe. So they added it as a new tribe. But Earth Elemental is definitely one.
One of my
That is
favorite
gonna be
creatures in the game.
Earth Elemental?
Yeah. Such
You
a
like
huge roadblock.
Oh, it's just a beast, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's an elemental.
Hey,
Ah.
got him. Okay, so Earth Elemental being picked up for Kara, and you can see, look at the options for Kara Q here. So many powerful cards, and ready to try and answer anything that comes out from Yara, but Yara doesn't really have much to do, to be honest.
Kalimos? No, he actually hit the... Not the worst. That was a Flame Elemental and Falnos, but at the same time, he would love to hit something bigger than that, the Blaze Caller, the Kalimos, the Earth Elemental. Well, that was an option.
Yeah, the problem here is as well
There was a
is
chance.
you're brawling nothing.
Oh,
You
but
know,
you have to. You committed right now.
Oh yeah, I just mean like it feels terrible because at this moment in time you're pretty much brawling nothing when you know your opponent's still got plenty of juice in the tank.
Well, if he doesn't play the Brawl, your opponent will just not do anything. He'll just pressure you with his board. He clears the Dirty Rat and just proceeds. And that's about it. No Brawl. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm okay. I would be okay with passing. This brawl just isn't as valuable as you need it to be, especially since you've already used the brawl.
But your opponent will not commit to the board. Like, that's enough to win the game. That's 4, 7, 9,
Yeah, but the
10, 11 damage.
trades might help Primordial Drake and Sleep with the Fishes clear the board the turn after, if trades happen.
Okay.
So I think it's just buying time. Yara isn't particularly close to being dead at this point. Yes, there could be a Bloodlust in the deck, but I like this play.
Well, you are correct, since he is on 6 out of 7 in his quest. So the Primordial Drake on turn 10 allows you to turn 11 actually fulfill the quest and get your win condition out.
What's important as well is once the quest is done, your quest is a 3-mana weapon. Yeah. Then you have a 2-mana hero power. You can brawl as well that turn, so you can actually weapon, brawl, and then try and hero power the one that survives.
Or even just kill it with the weapon.
Yeah, depending on what comes out, of course. So that one turn is the turn that I believe Yara is looking for to try and heavily swing this board here.
So Kara didn't commit a lot to the board right now. I was actually thinking about just Flame Tongue Totem this turn, just to get more pressure out, you know?
Yeah. Although it's 4 damage that you just don't need at this point, right? You know, Justica True.
Justica Trueheart? Wait, what?
Yeah. Justica Trueheart isn't in the rotation anymore. So the Warrior's only gaining 2 armor, right?
Yeah.
You're doing way more damage than 2 here. And oh, what's the rat gonna pull? This is
Let's
Kalimos.
see.
If this is Kalimos. It's
Oh
Kalimos,
my God,
I knew it!
Kalimos.
Okay, that is kind of huge. Kalimos' effect is absolutely amazing, and this brawl is going to be very important. This is the turn I spoke about, where you know it's different now because it's a turn earlier. But the brawl into Sulfuras means that there can't be hero power this turn, but that brawl is enough. Sulfuras, I wouldn't be too surprised, comes down, clear up the elemental, and suddenly
answer.
Yara is in business.
Seems like Czech Republic is ahead right now because of the fact that the hero power is able to clear every single minion apart from Stone Shaper with Divine Shield.
Yep. Ooh.
Another 7th of Kalemos will help because they can spawn infinite amount of 7th of Kalemoses.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but I would also, if I was Kara, really want the Kalemos back.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I want you Broad Mine away and I didn't get the effect, so I kind of just want to play this.
Kalemos will also have the way
Got
of
him.
just oh my god. Just
Replenish?
filling, yeah, thank you. Just filling out the board again with the 1/1s, and we have seen double brawls. We didn't see Primordial Drake though, and any other whirlwind effects yet, but it's still valuable.
And this play is basically making the board as wide as possible, just to try and soak up some of these hero powers. First, we do see another taunt coming out for Yara, if possible.
Well, I guess this turn can be actually just the hatchling, just to get some pressure on board because you still have Sleep with the Fishes with Primordial Drake.
Yeah, I think you want to clear the two like low health minions though, right?
I think so.
Well, the hero power becomes pointless to
It's
yeah,
not
killing a
that
1/1.
pointless. Because right now, if you just play
This clears the
Primordial
board
Drake,
and deals 8 to face though.
that's true. But at the same time, your Slip with the Fishes looks really bad.
Yeah, there's still AoE effects though.
Well, he
Still ghouls, right?
most likely has ghouls in his deck.
Still fine. But you
Maybe Whirlwind,
You don't need Sleep with the Fishes if there's no minions on the board, Luth.
That's true. But your opponent will have a chance to replenish the board. But I feel like in this deck, when you have sentries and you have dirty rats, you're not playing ghouls. You'd rather play
The
whirlwinds.
sentry was discovered, remember?
Was it?
Yes, it was from the Stonehill.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah, so the idea now, and you know, this is kind of like the exact way the warrior wants to play here. You just fend off until you proc the quest. Then you do one sweep turn and really flip the board, and then your hero power, along with the rest of your taunt minions, just continue to apply the pressure and keep the opponent's board down. If possible, but now Karakute's going to be able to, you know, go a little bit wider onto the board with that Firefly. Has another Flame Elemental next turn as well, keeping this elemental chain going. Second Sleep with the Fishes is not what Yara will want here. I believe this will just be the Dion hatchling onto a hero power.
I mean, he will attack into the totem 100%. He wants
Okay.
to increase the chances of
I've killed
killing
6/6.
the Blaze Caller. By the way, beautiful animation on the golden
Blaze
one.
Call looks. Oh my god, this looks an absolute monster.
Well, actually, 8 damage to the face is not that bad as well.
You can just kill them. That is definitely an option. You just kill them.
But still, it's not looking great for Yara right now. The Sleep with the Fish is basically useless until he will draw the ghoul, I guess, that he has in his deck.
I think with the amount of juice Kara's still got in the tank, she can take. Remember, she can just Kalimos heal for 12. She doesn't really care about damage to face. Like, you just heal for 12 and you're like, yep, okay.
Although,
and this is a lot of pressure, along with Aya as well, going to generate more tokens. Flame Tongue Totem to start pushing more damage. You know, Yara's actually in a bit of a scary situation here. And one I don't think even Sulfuris is going to dig him out of.
he will not fend off the insects anymore.
Exactly.
Well, now he also lost the way of healing himself. He has a way of taking damage.
That's the payoff, right? The hero power is very, very powerful, but you lose your armor up. So when you commit to that hero power, you need that hero power to finish the game for you. And we'll see if it's going to be enough. Yara is just lacking the effects to be able to proc Sleep with the Fishes, and we'll see what happens here. As Kara just goes wide onto the board. Again, I love the Philippine team. It's always just so happy no matter what's going. They're down. They're down in the series 2-1. And they're just like, yep, seems good, guys. We're feeling good. Let's just keep playing some good old Hearthstone.
Oh, man, this looks terrible. He needs to use the Slip the Fishes just to kill the Blaze Caller, just to get that damage out of the board.
Well, you have 2, right? So you may as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing I really wanted to avoid as a warrior player, because of the fact that you had a really good combo with the Primordial Drake. And that was a clears almost everything on the board. It deals 5 damage, right? 7 Kalimos, 5 HP. Blaze Caller has 6 still, but oh man, 8 damage to the
Good
face.
rag.
My god. Does that change anything for Karakute right now? I feel like this has to be Kalimos then. just heal.
Yeah,
right?
there's only
you don't want to die like that.
There's
out
only
of nowhere.
15 damage available here for Kara if she goes all out,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously isn't enough. So I think just Kalimos heal. You can just Jade Claws for a 3-3 on the board as well. This is looking pretty reasonable. And this is the true power. I didn't believe this, by the way. When Kalimos was announced, it's like, oh, these are the options. It's like, oh, do you only get to pick like one out of the two, for example? Nope. You always get all of the options. You pick whichever one you want. I was like, what? This is insane.
Well, it just makes a really good card, right?
Oh yeah, but imagine if you could have missed that heal if you were Kara. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, that could be.
I would actually hate that. Like, I like the fact that you have all the options because there's no RNG.
Yeah, I
right?
just mean it's powerful, right? You know,
Yeah,
and it's like that's insane. And you know, Karaku is actually applying so much pressure onto the board. The Curator is picked up from Yara. And this simply, I don't think, is going to be...
Well, a Curator has insane synergy with this deck because you have Beasts, you have Dragons. You might actually have a Murloc as well, maybe. But it's both of those, so you always have a chance if you didn't draw the Promoted Drag before.
Imagine if Curator was drawn one turn before. Like, that would have actually changed everything here. But this is not going to be enough. Yara chooses death, and Kara Q is going to take the win.
Woo!
Team Philippines, and even this series up. Philippines.
Cheaper, or you'd build up the board and attack.
Yep. Okay, so my thoughts. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like this is going to be Time Warp. There is no quest in the opening hand. This looks like the aggro list, where there's, as you can see, Cold Light, Oracles, Loot Hoarders, a lot of cycle, a lot of damage, a lot of burn. I believe this will play Medi's Valet, for example, to do just extra damage as well. The Pyroblast is obviously the top of the curve, just a one-off in the deck, I believe, just to do that final, here's extra damage.
It's very similar an approach to the first iteration of Tempo Mage we ever had in this game. So with the Pyroblast for 8 mana, which was the finisher back then.
Yeah, which was just like, I'm going to throw spells at your face and kill you.
Yeah, just Sorcerer's Apprentice, small minions, go face, Fireball, Fireball, Pyroblast. And, well, this is kind of insane. There's already a Manavim coin mirror image on turn 1, which puts a free threat on the board and protects it from the attacks. Yeah. There's not many options for the Shaman to clear that. No one plays Lightning Balls anymore.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering as well whether there's the worry you've got as well is it even worth waiting and going Mana Worm, Coin, Apprentice?
I don't think so. I don't think so because of the fact that you lose 3 damage in the process.
True.
And that's a burn deck, right? So
yeah.
It plays an ice block because that's the thing with the Arcanologist. You just want to survive additional turn for that additional burn, because that makes a difference in the game, especially against other non-combo decks. Definitely.
Those extra turns for those extra burns.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for it. This does put as much pressure as possible onto the board. As you said, not that many answers. Even a Flame Tongue wouldn't do much, as you can only kill off one of the mirror images here.
Yeah, the Jade Claw also doesn't help here. So a very tough situation for Czech Republic to actually do anything with that. They need to play the Glacier Shard, so the new minion for 1 mana with a very powerful effect actually. It brings a freezing potion in it. It just freezes any kind of minion.
Yeah, really strong actually.
Sorry, also character as well.
Yes, it just freezes something. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see the double 1-drops here. The only thing to think about is if double 1-drops come out and then the Tar Creeper comes out on 3, then you are suddenly very dry on elementals and can't proc further elemental effects unless you draw into them in the next turn or so.
Yeah.
So definitely something to consider. You are against an aggro deck at this point, and this opening will just tell Team Czech that this is an aggro deck. No one else opens like this. You know, Time Warp decks do not open like this at all. So they'll be aware. It's where they want to sacrifice so much to stave off the early aggression and potentially have a struggling mid-game. Looks like they do.
Well, they go all out on the elementals.
Nice to meet you, Luther.
I have to say, when it comes to the flavor texts and the audio of the cards, usually Blizzard is on spot with those.
Just wait till we see Lyra. Lyra is got the best audio in the game.
But she has the deepest voice of a female I ever heard.
It's also pretty epic, so I don't care. Actually don't care. So Archaeologist seems like a reasonable choice here. Nothing too much to be able to do with Apprentice at this moment in time, and Loot Hoarder Yeah, if you want to draw, but you've got Arcane Intellect next turn.
I like pinging as well. When you ping the Glacier Shard, it allows your Manavim to actually attack next turn. On turn 3, you can play any of your drops.
You can ping next turn though, right?
But if you ping next turn, then your Worm might just die.
How?
Well, Flaming Totem.
Oh yeah, sure. Ooh, Hot Spring Guardian. So an element that we've not discussed much.
Oh, you're right. Actually, my top 5 card.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think it's very powerful. It's like a card that doesn't really. It's not really flashy. Like
yeah, but it does a great job.
Yes, it's great at what it does. It's a 3-mana 2/4 minion, so already good stats on it, with taunt, and it allows you to heal for 4, and it actually can target minions as well.
Yeah, and it's an elemental, which is important because it continues the elemental chain. We see the double ice block now being available for Waning Moon to be able to buy those extra turns for extra damage, as we said earlier on. This is kind of funky though. We see the power of the Tar minions, like, oh, 1/5, not too bad.
Yeah.
But when you want to trade into it, suddenly it's a 3/5, and it actually kills both of your minions for like a full trade. So this is kind of a sticking point here for Waning Moon and Team Philippines.
It doesn't look great. Like, you don't want to lose that Manavim right now, but you can't play 2 spells to just trade single-handedly into the Tar Creeper. Unless there are some 0-mana spells in that deck. Freezing Potion would be an option.
I don't think there's a Freezing Potion in there.
Probably not.
Yeah, this is really, really tough, because one of the problems with this style of deck is once you lose the board, it's normally very difficult to get back onto it as the mage. Yeah, so it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a ping.
So I actually
it's not
like
going to trade. It's not going to trade.
Yeah, not going to trade at all. I think that's the best out of the possibilities on board, since if your opponent would like to kill that Manavim without anything in his hand, he would have to sacrifice all 3 attacks. He will kill 2 minions, get a lot of damage on the Tar Creeper as well, and that will allow the Archaeologist to trade up with the Tar Creeper next turn. Healing Totem? No.
Interesting turn there. This is like the mana efficient turn as well, but there was an option to triple trade into the Mana Worm and then actually just hot spring the Tar Creeper back up. And then you have 2 big taunt guys that are going to be a huge problem to trade into.
But I like this because the Jade now, the Jade Cloak puts an overload on turn 5 when you don't have a 5-drop, because you don't have a 7 of Kalimos yet. So
and you didn't play an Elemental anyway, right?
Yeah, and you don't want to have overload on turn 6 when you can draw Fire Elemental. You don't want to have overload on turn 7 when you
Blaze
Caller, right? Turn 8 is Kalimos. So definitely putting the overload right now seems like the best option. So even though I agree, the Hot Spring Garden was actually a great play. Oh my god, that's an overload overkill of Arcane Intellect.
Yep. And Waning Moon quite rightly playing the one that is from his deck, not from the book. You want to keep your opponent guessing as to what that spell is. No need to play it when you've already got a copy of it in your hand.
So when you think about it, Icebook is actually a card like Time Warp.
Yeah,
because it gives you additional
an extra turn.
Yeah, it gives an additional 10 for you, but you don't gain a 10 of attacks.
Yeah.
That's about it. It gives you an additional 10 of spells, so you can deal damage with that, but your minions won't be able to attack, so it's not like, you know, Arcane Giant, Smash.
Well, your opponent can interact.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, that's the difference. We do see a Fireplume Harbinger here in the hand, and what this elemental does, as we'll explain the cards first time we see them, just to help you guys out if you're not fully aware, is this reduces the cost of all elementals in hand by 1, which is actually huge. It increases your curve basically by a turn. As a potential anyway, so could see this card come down this turn. It's going to be the Hot Spring Guardian though. Heal this Tar Creeper back up. Tar Creeper is just a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, it's a huge minion. It doesn't put a lot of pressure, but how do you deal with that? Cold Light Oracle. 3, 6, 7, 8 cards, you will be at 9. Tough situation.
So Waning Moon's actually just looking for area of effect damage here. Oh, Primordial Glyph! New mage card. Discover a mage spell.
Yes.
And reduce its cost by 2. So it's very powerful indeed.
It's very similar effect to like Farsight for Shaman, but it gives you a conscious choice, a more conscious choice.
Yeah.
Let's stay like that.
And
What's it far left?
okay,
Greater
Meteor
Archon.
time, Lothar. 1, because it's a sweet card. 2, because I actually think it's the best choice. You nuke whatever's played next turn and kill off totems and stuff.
Yeah, it deals with any creature that is being played by the shaman. Well, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I think it needs to happen, to be honest.
Well, it can also use Thalnos alongside it, so it deals 4 damage to the creatures on
Mini
the
flame strike.
adjacent pieces of the board.
Yeah, Meteor, super cool card. There's Blaze Caller for next turn as well.
So it seems like... Wait, so... You have 6 mana. You can hit hero power to maybe get the healing totem.
You have to play the Harbinger, right?
I think so.
Because you need the elemental prop for next turn.
Yes, you want to play Blaze Caller on turn 7. Even though it will be for 6 mana. It doesn't really matter. But you need the elemental synergy, so I...
But you might play Kalimos next turn.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. But do you want to play Kalimos right now? You know what kind of deck are you facing. So the effect is very versatile, right? You might actually see the second time heal instead of anything else.
I think depending on what happens here for Waning Moon, if it develops onto the board, the AoE is very strong. And also, it's a 7/7 that can deal 6 to face straight away.
Yeah.
It might just kill him. You know what I mean? Like, the Waning Moon is the reason we've seen the books and the glyph come out as well. You know, the glyph came from the book, but to try and help out is Waning Moon's deck does not have a way to deal with losing the board, right? The idea is when you lose the board, you've killed them. You know, like you've got some burst. He does not have that at the moment. So, you know, I actually wouldn't mind just piling on the pressure. There's Pyroblast.
Man, that would have been 2 Pyroblasts in the hand. But with 2 ice
Only
blocks...
like 4 turns so you can play it, though.
Well, you have 2 ice blocks.
There's no way to stop this damage, though.
Huh. So, at some point, when you needs to develop the ice block, I would say that this will be the turn when you play at least 2 spells and the Sorcerer's Apprentice the same turn. So, if you play that this turn, you can go Sorcerer's Apprentice, Ice Block, Arcane Intellect.
You definitely don't want to play Cold Light because, 1, you don't need the cards that much, and you don't want to give your opponent more information and more resources.
There's the Medivh Valet, which deals 3 damage if you have a secret out, and most likely your secret will be still on the board since it's not a ice barrier. That would just be popped.
Okay, now you can just Blaze Call the 3/2, right?
Well, do you want to Blaze Call 3/2? You can just trade 2 1/1s. They're not really that important.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Flame Tongue potential. Like, nice to just trade
If
off.
he even plays it, we don't know it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I mean, there's so much synergy with
everything.
with everything in your deck.
Just the hero power. Like,
Hero
never
power,
mind anything else.
Firefly has a great synergy. The Harbinger is actually a really not that powerful minion if you don't have any synergy on the board as well with it. So I'm 100% sure actually now that when we talk about it, that there will be a Flame Tongue in the deck. So you might be right. The Blaze Caller might just kill the Sorcerer's Apprentice, just deal more damage to the face. Although, if you want to pop the Ice Block next turn, we need to counter damage. It's 2, 3, 5 damage, 10 damage to the face, but you can't leave it, so that's 8 damage. You put it on your opponent on 15. Then you have 9, 7, 5, and you're still able to pop it
The
with
thing
Kyle.
here is, you did 5 damage to Sorcerer's Apprentice, right? You've only lost 1 damage because the 2 1-attack minions can attack.
Yeah.
If those 2 minions attack next turn, you're up. Right? That cannot happen if you trade. The damage is just the damage, right? So this gives you the chance of gaining more damage over the course of 2 turns. So yeah, I think this is fine. The Blaze Call is just a pain to deal with, being 6 health as well. And we can see now. So now we need to work out how many turns Waning Moon has here, because he has 6 damage he can do this turn. 7 if he wants to play Thanos. He might just be able to burn him out if he's feeling confident about his follow-up draws.
Well,
He has 2 additional turns.
That's true, and the only way his opponent can stop him is by healing, and he used 1 Hot Spring Guardian already. He didn't see the Kalimos, of course, yet.
Yep.
But at the same time, the chance of drawing Kalimos, well, it's a legendary, it's 1-off, right?
Meteor. Special effects, that was sick. Sorry. Yeah, of course. But the problem is as well, is this kind of deck, can you try and play around Kalimos? Like,
No, not really.
probably not. You can't.
Yeah.
It's an aggro deck. You kind of have to go for it and cross your fingers sometimes. Yeah, it looks
There
like
we
he's
go.
going for it.
Valet to the face, sets it up on 22, still far away. I think the Arcanologist doesn't really actually do anything right now with 2 ice blocks already in hand.
I don't believe so. There's like maybe a slim chance Mana Bind is in there because you just gain a free spell, but very slim, I would say.
Well, it's not really free when you have to pay 3.
No, but I mean, like it can be like comboed in the following turns, like freely. But yeah, like I said, it's a kind of a fringe situation, I guess.
And another Hot Spring Guardian to help out with the burn from the mage side.
The Hot Spring Guardian, the Hot Spring Guardian.
Do you?
I mean, you're on 22 and you've got effective 12 heal whenever you want. Well, not whenever you want.
But do you want to like risk it? You're ahead, right?
Do you even want to play Hot Spring Guardian this turn?
Maybe not.
It's tough. Because now Prokovac is running low on elementals. It means that you've got to really think about if you want to play the elemental next turn or not. Because if he's going to presume he needs Kalimos, then he needs to play the Hot Spring this turn, right?
But he doesn't want to play Kalimos next turn.
But he might do. He might use it to put the block, right?
Might.
You know what I mean?
So
it's very difficult. Like the elementals are nowhere near as straightforward as they seem. Flame Geyser. This is when you see how aggressive this deck is. A Flame Geyser to face.
25 HP.
Just gonna go face. Just gonna go for it. Hope for the best.
So that sets up on 17. He has 10 burn.
And there's still, I imagine, fireballs in the deck as
Fireballs
well.
have to be in the deck. Another Frostbolt.
Probably another geyser.
Another Geyser, yeah, as well.
There's a lot of burn left. Volcano.
Oh, wow.
Probably not going to see that card. But yeah, I imagine because of that direct burn over the course of 2 turns, Pokrovac's just, well, one, going to be safe at 17, I think. But also either this turn or next turn. Probably this turn because he doesn't have an elemental to proc next turn. Means he has to play Kalimos heal. He has to.
Yep.
He can't proc the elemental next turn.
That's correct.
So he's got to commit to it this turn.
But it's okay. You fall for the...
Okay, he's doing that.
He's-
Wow.
he's at
Okay, I was like, look, I'm pretty sure you've got to play this Prokovac.
He's able to get the full value out of the heal anyway. He's setting up at 29. The Ice Ball will get popped next turn if Philippines doesn't do anything about the board. 2 Fireballs, that's 12, that's 22 with the Pyroblast. But you have only basically 3 turns.
Yep, Waning Moon basically drew this deck the wrong way round. He drew, well, one, he drew too much card draw, which was a bit of a problem, but also like double ice block, like on turn 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, and now here come the fireballs. We only recently saw Frostbolt, only recently saw a Flame Geyser as well. So all the burn that you want to pressure your opponent with, and just a lack of minions other than that opening. Like all the stuff you want to do with pressuring your opponent didn't appear till now, and I'm pretty sure this is just going to bust them out of the game.
To be honest, I feel that Waning Moon had actually a great opener, but the Glacier Shard made a difference.
Yeah, buying that 1 turn is huge.
That was actually like at least 3 to 6 damage.
Yep.
By a single 1 mana minion.
Yeah, because if Waning Moon had like Frostbolt, for example, or whatever, you can actually stack that up really quick. See, there's a Frostbolt. So much extra damage available, but this is just more and more, it still might be enough, right?
It's 9 damage. You would need to play Fireball, Frostbolt, Ice Block next turn. So that's 9. Your opponent goes to 13. Then you Pyroblast. That's still 3 off.
Yeah, he's not going to make it, is he?
Well, he can get another glyph from a second Babbling Book into another Ice Block.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's potential. Oh, no, he's played both books, right?
I think he played 1.
I thought he played 2. No, because he got the Arcane Intellect, right? The second Intellect.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's played both books. He might just run Glyph in the deck, which would be sweet. But we'll see. The deck I think is fairly streamlined in terms of direct damage, though, and just not gone the right way. We can see, is that? I think that's Chalk. Stood next to him on the left, just like leaning over, going, "Come on, guys!" For the Philippines team there, and it's not going to be enough. Like, there's the stand-up, and even a shake of the head from Karaku in the background there, and I just don't think it's enough. It just drew the deck the wrong way round. Like, it just didn't draw as much pressure as needed outside of the Mana Wurm opening.
Well, and maybe there's something we're missing, right? And there's still an out in the deck, but it doesn't seem...
It looks very difficult.
Optimistic for Waning Moon and the Philippines.
Prokovac and Team Czech running double Volcano in this list. That is not something I've seen.
Alright. He just wanted to make space for the charge minion. Just in case.
It took me a second to realize. I was like, did Waning Moon just volcano Pekovac? Like, what just happened? It's like, no, Pekovac volcanoed himself because he wants to be able to play Alakir, worst case scenario.
So he plays around Frost Nova.
What's the overload on Volcano, though? He can't play
2.
it anyway. Is it only 2?
It's only 2.
Oh, sick. Okay, so he has opened up perfectly the Alakir to prot the block if there is some kind of freeze effect.
Well, the only freeze effect which would matter would be Frost Nova, because otherwise some minions die and they make space for Alakir.
Yeah. Yep.
So they play around Frost Nova
Exactly.
only.
Yeah. I mean, if you can, you will, right? Like,
I think so.
If there's one thing you lose to and you can play around it, let's play around it. That's my vote.
Yep.
So Waning Moon just doing what he can to try and survive and try and stop this block getting procced. He's going to Fireball Kalimos, Frostbolt the Tar Creeper, but it's not going to be enough as we can see.
So Alakir will clear the Manavum
It will
and proc the...
clear.
Oh my god.
Yes.
It will clear and also proc the block.
And he got it from Servant of Kalimos as well.
A powerful card, man.
Ah, absolutely insane. And now Waning Moon is on the back foot. I say on the back foot, he's just on the floor at this moment in time. There is not a lot he can do at all. Sorcerer's Apprentice is not the miracle card he needs to dig himself out of this one. Still going to go for Cold Light. I wonder what's left. Maybe Ice Barrier? No, because he would have just... Arcanist.
There's the glyph.
He does play glyphs. Okay, let's glyph into an ice block. Easily doable.
Kabbalist Tome.
Let's tome into an ice block.
He can tome, but he won't be able to play...
No, it's
wait,
reduced,
it's for commander. Yeah.
Let's
Right.
tome into an ice block.
Oh, there's a freeze. He can freeze and ping. But then the Fire Plume actually kills him.
Yeah, this actually keeps him alive, which is nuts.
Wow.
Absolutely nuts that you can chain that kind of spell off. Like I said, the Primordial Glyph is amazing. We can see Fire Plume, Fire Elemental is in hand as well, so there's a lot of on-damage effects live from the hand for Pekovac. But what a game. Well, and what a series.
A really interesting series, because now, imagine if there would be no Fire Plume in the deck, all Fire Elementals.
Well played,
still,
indeed.
well,
that is going to be it. And Czech Republic with Pekovac as the ace player does win this.